And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the cage his opponent, Brandon Sandford.
And here comes via American Top Team, Coconut Creek, Florida. Brandon Sweet Tips Sandford, 28 years old. Fights out of ATT in Coconut Creek, but by way of Michigan. He's a Michigan resident. His professional career, his entire professional career has been spent inside this EWC 30-foot monster cage. Lost his debut decision to Chad Wigington. Came out at EWC 8 back in October and just picked apart Ardit Heisa with strong, precise, quick strikes.
Yeah, Brandon Sandford and his teammate both, Victor Floyd, that they fought all their professional fights with the EWC. They have made EWC their home, and we're glad to have them. They're talented guys. The guys bringing a ton of talent with him. The big American Top Team name, of course,
This is a big fight for not only their careers, for both fighters to get above that 500 mark in their pro careers, but this is a fight for ranking and status inside the Virginia featherweight division that is very strong.
And also, as Chris Rollins has alluded to, is for rankings and stature inside the EWC. He wants to win this fight, and he has already staked his claim to the EWC featherweight title.
Ladies and gentlemen, this fight is 3 rounds in the featherweight division. Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, a mixed martial artist with a record of 1 win, 1 loss, and 1 draw. He stands 6 feet 1 inch tall, weighing in at 145 pounds. Fighting out of Zamora Boxing Gym, Chris Rollins. And now introducing his opponent, across the cage, fighting out of the blue corner. This man is a mixed martial artist with a record of 1 win and 1 loss. He stands 5 feet 11 inches tall, weighing in at 144 pounds. Fighting out of American Top Team, Brandon Sweet Tips Sandford.
Sandford has yet to take his eyes
When
off
the action
of
begins,
Rollins.
your referee in charge, Angel Ortiz.
Angel Ortiz, our third man in the cage. Jeremy, talking about these featherweight rankings in Virginia. If you follow Tapology.com, they've got Chris Rollins ranked 23rd in the pro Virginia featherweights. Brandon Sandford 1 spot ahead of him at number 22.
As we were talking about earlier, during the stare-off, Rollins towering over Brandon Sandford. Let's see if he can use that reach.
So what do we know of these two fighters that we've seen? Both have great stand-up. Both have struggled on the ground.
Well, the one draw that Rollins has in the EWC cage, I think that was mainly due to the ground game. Jonathan Ball just took him to the ground, kind of smothered him. Every time the fight was on the feet, Rollins was exploiting.
Well, and that was a fight where Rollins got a point taken, would have won the fight had that point deduction not occurred. So potentially, Rollins could be 2-1-0.
I was talking to Rollins yesterday. He feels like he's on a 2-fight win streak right now.
And he'll give all that credit to Zamora Boxing Gym. I mean, it has changed him. He says not only as a fighter but as a person. He's got a 3-month-old baby daughter that was just born, newly married, beautiful family. So he's fighting for not only himself but for his family at home.
I know
and that changes a man.
He's got a great display of footwork in there. Keeping him at the end of his punches. I think it's starting to get on Brandon Sandford's nerves just a little bit.
But Sandford with the center cage position, really doing a good job of cutting off the cage, cutting off Rollins' movement. Not landing a lot of strikes with him, but
you can see the strawberry behind the knee of Sandford already from that early leg kick Rollins landed.
Big body combination from the Rocket. We were talking about Brandon Pennington in the last fight about how he's such a great student of the game, such a great listener. We saw that from Sandford as well in the Wigington fight where, every time his corner was shouting directions, he's looking at the corner, absorbing every instruction and following it to the letter. Again, young fighters like that, that's what you've got to do. It's only going to benefit you down the line.
It's probably a testament to the team he comes from too, Ryan. The great training facility down at American Top Team. One of the best teams in the nation, of course.
In the world. Nice combination knee from Sandford.
Sandford got a few whelps up under the left arm, on his rib cage a little bit too from those body kicks.
From those high body kicks. One of those body kicks propelled Chris Rollins to the knockout of the year, as from MMAinvirginia.com, his head kick knockout of Anthony Tisdale at strikeoff 6.
Yes, sir. I witnessed that, not in person, but that night on the internet. It was a beautiful knockout.
Little blood looking like it's coming from Rollins' nose.
Nice combo by Sandford.
Yep.
Followed up with a kick.
Sandford doing still a great job of just walking him down, just stalking him.
Nice combination. Nice uppercut by Sandford. Sprung him into the cage, though.
And here's where we're going to look to see the evolution of Rollins in the clinch game, in the ground game. We're going to see how far he's excelled.
Rollins' nose is pouring blood at this now. I think it probably comes from that straight left earlier. If you ask me, when Rollins gets him against the cage like that, he needs to look for the takedown. Now, you and I both know Rollins doesn't normally go to the ground, but I'm wondering if it might not be better for him here. You know, put Sandford against the cage, beat him up a little bit.
Well, here's a view. So we know, again, both great strikers, both have struggled on the ground early in their careers. Why not just be the fighter that takes the shot first? That could be the deciding factor. I mean, this is such a close round one with just over a minute left. One takedown in a round could be a deciding factor.
Just as we've seen in the last fight, you know, takedowns win fights, Ryan. Sandford seems to be throwing the more powerful shots.
Right. And if you remember the Ardit Haisa fight, he took a little while to get warmed up. He really looks at his opponent's motion, his movement, their reactions. He feels them out, and then he takes them apart. That's Sandford's game.
They're doing a great job of cutting the cage off. But Rollins' footwork looks really good. Spinning back fist was a little bit telegraphed, but it did back Sandford up a little bit.
Well, but it's one more thing that Sandford has to look for. So we've seen leg kicks, we've seen spinning back fists, we've seen all kinds of strikes. The more strikes you can throw, the more your opponent has to think about.
Spinning heel kick now. I think Rollins may be a little bit frustrated here. He was throwing his hands up, doing a little. I hate to keep referring to it, but Rollins reminds me of those Diaz brothers so much. You know, I know he's a big fan of the Diaz brothers, and I wonder if he doesn't implement their style into his game plan on purpose. You know.
Well, you know, this first round was a great fight, great matchup by you, Jeremy, putting these guys together. I mean, what we've seen from Rollins over the years. I mentioned the knockout of the year 2015. He had the fight of the night at EWC 7 in that Baldridge fight that we referenced earlier. And his fight against Pablo Garcia in the amateur ranks in 2014 was MMA NVA's amateur fight of the year for 14. So the guy puts on a great show, and we're seeing that again today. And Sandford isn't much of a slouch either. Sandford just pacing again like a tiger.
That's like I stated at the beginning of the fight. He's in his corner, and he never takes his eyes off of Sandford.
Eye of the tiger. And that was my one corny reference of the night. I'm done with it, so we're good. We're good from here on out.
I'm wondering if Sandford didn't leave Rollins' blood all over his body as an intimidation factor.
Oh, nice jab from Sandford connected. Nice leg kick.
Sandford seems to really be feeling his stride here.
Nice little
cross
flurry
by Rollins.
Kick from Sandford just glances off the forearm of Rollins. Nice low leg kick, outside leg kick from Rollins.
Both fighters still seem to be happy just to be trading punches, though.
Yeah, both seem to be content to keep it on the feet.
Nice head movement by Rollins.
Both guys getting off with those leg kicks, though, Jeremy, having a lot of success.
And neither guy really seems to be checking leg kicks either.
No, nice left there from Brandon. Rollins looked like he was going to fake a little Superman punch off the cage there, a little Ben Henderson or Anthony Pettis style there.
Rollins initiates the clinch now, but didn't go for it.
Sandford was having none of it. See a little bit of red around the corner of Sandford's eye, yeah, from those Rollins rights.
I see a little bit of color under the left eye of Rollins myself. Well, both guys taking some shots. Both guys giving some shots. I would still like to see one of these guys put one of them against the cage. Use a little bit of clinch, cause a little bit of damage.
I mean, the ground game has got to be brought into effect at some point. I mean,
nice jab by Sandford.
I mean,
Rollins' corner calling for the jab hook.
I mean, there's some judges that could be having this fight as a draw right now. I mean, that's how close this is. This is like a guy fighting in a mirror. These guys are so similar.
A nod by Sandford. Now, you know when you get that nod, you land a good shot.
It landed.
You know?
It hurt. He felt it. Yeah, that left eye of Rollins looking a little purple and blue there, a little bit of swelling there.
It's getting a little color under it. Doesn't seem to really be affecting his vision anymore.
Not yet, no.
There's the initial shot. But Rollins was the first to attempt a takedown.
Sandford with a quick reversal, though. Did not want to have his back on the cage with those big Rollins knees looming.
They break away.
But if you're Rollins, why not keep going for that?
That's what I was going to say. Let's see how long it is before Rollins initiates that clinch and that takedown again.
Because that's only going to open up his striking game. You've got Sandford starting to think about takedowns. That's going to open up the striking game. And for that matter, maybe Sandford mixes in a takedown attempt as well.
Well, I have to say, this is Sandford's third fight in the EWC cage, and I don't believe I've seen him shoot a takedown yet. So
no.
I wouldn't really look for one from Sandford. Now, Rollins, on the other hand, you know, like I said, he just shot one. I'd really like to see him put Sandford against the cage, but he's got to be able to keep him there, too. You know, you can't let Sandford roll you off and put your back on the cage like you did over here the last time.
Just under 30 seconds left in this round 2 of 3. You'd really like to see a fighter just kind of lay it on the line here and you know, steal around and put it in the judges' minds that, you know, I controlled this, I won it at the end, but not really seeing that at this point.
Little jab, uppercut variation there from Rollins. Lands on Sandford.
A takedown for Rollins would have been huge.
Would have been huge, yes. Exactly what I was about to say. Blood-stained face of Rollins. He doesn't really look concerned, though. He doesn't look tired.
Not at all. This is what Rollins wants to do. This is what he was built for.
Sandford breathing easy in his corner.
You know, Jeremy, the conversation I'm having right now, it seemed like we had it at EWC 8 during the Caleb Harris-Joshua Freeman fight. Both big heavyweights content to stand. I kept asking you, when's somebody going to go for the takedown? Nobody ever did. And I just...
As you look at the replay, Ryan, you see the strike, you see the footwork of Sandford, you see the footwork of Rollins. They showed a little bit, you know, Rollins taunting Sandford. I would still like to see the big takedown, you know.
But Jeremy, thus far, 2 for 2 entertainment value. Another great fight.
And I'm telling you, I would really hate to be the judge scoring this fight. I mean, if you ask me, that's 2 rounds. Both rounds could be a draw.
Absolutely. Somebody's got to put a stake in the ground in this round and really, really take it. They got to take the win. And Rollins comes out and takes that center of that cage. He's saying, this is my round right now.
He's definitely pushing the pace. He is the aggressor at the beginning of the round, that's for sure. As Sandford playing the circle game this time.
This is a complete 180-degree switch of what we saw in the first 2 rounds. Low kick from Rollins, unintentional.
Sandford says he's fine.
Sandford good immediately, wants to get right back at it.
He didn't want to take the break that he had, Ryan. I think that was just more Angel Ortiz precautionary measure than anything else.
Here is where Rollins, again, could have been very successful. That height advantage.
One double leg takedown would have sealed the round, I believe, Ryan.
Or just continuing to keep his back against the cage, throw some of those big knees. A little dirty boxing, but Sandford, again, just tricky. Right back off that cage. I mean, I don't want to see it, Jeremy, but how unfortunate would it be for Rollins to get another draw? I mean, this is so close.
I feel like it would almost crush the man, Ryan. I mean, the last draw seemed to hurt his feelings so bad. He wanted a rematch as soon as he left the cage, you know. I'd hate to see the look on the man's face should he wind up in another draw.
Well, but here's the good news for Rollins. His posture, his movement, he wants this round and he wants this fight.
He is being the aggressor in the 3rd round.
And here's the gas tank I told you about. He's not even breathing heavy, Jeremy. And that face of Sandford's getting quite a bit more red to it.
More red, and it's starting to get more puzzled, if you ask me. It's starting to look like he's wondering, what can I do? What can I do?
Why won't this guy slow down and tire? Nice jumping knee from Rollins. I mean, Sandford is looking shell-shocked right now.
I think
nice kick by Sandford,
it's just the result of the pace that Rollins is pushing. Puts him on the cage. Let's see if it works for him this time.
Got that overhook, Sandford, and the clinch. Controlling that posture.
I think Sandford's just a little bit stronger than Rollins.
And there's
the first takedown I have seen Sandford attempt in the
nice
EWC
level
cage.
change. Couldn't get it, but I love the effort.
Rollins. Now, a leg trip here would be, a leg drag here would be ideal. Knees to the thighs. But he just can't keep Sandford on that cage.
Sandford just too good with that control. Sits for a little bit, circles right off. Seems to be the theme of the night thus far, is folks not being able to just take that full advantage of having their guys against a rope or a cage. We saw that in the boxing match earlier with Travis Davidson.
As we enter the final minute of the round, Ryan, this fight is still so hard to call. We still can't say that we have a winner yet.
No. And that's a testament to both fighters and both gyms. I mean, this is fantastic. This is what people pay to come see.
They trade jabs. Did you see that, Ryan? Yep.
There was that head kick that he loves. Didn't quite connect fully, but let Pennington know, or Sandford, no, he's there.
30 seconds.
Nice knee from Sandford in the clinch. Another nice knee. Got that tie plumb. Nice exchange for Brandon. That exchange right there very well could be the difference in this round.
The punches from Rollins just don't seem to have the steam on them that they had to start with, though. He's steady touching him, but I just don't think they have any force on him. 10 seconds left in the fight.
Fantastic fight from these young featherweights.
If you go by solely by appearance, you would have to give it to Brandon Sandford.
Well, and you hope that's not the case. You know, they tell judges, don't judge on blood, don't judge on punishment. You know, some people are just...
What is that indention in Rollins' head?
Fantastic fight from both guys. And that's the kind of fight you want as a young fighter, to really test you and get you ready for those deep waters later in your career.
Sanford apparently feels like he won the fight. He's prancing around the cage like a lion in the cage at the zoo, Ryan. Rollins at his cage getting looked at by the physician. Eyes starting to swell a little bit. What a great performance by that kid, though.
Fantastic. And I mean, the first fight to this fight, what do you call fight of the night thus far? Craziness.
It's like I was telling you yesterday at weigh-ins, Ryan. In my opinion, I know I may be a little biased as the matchmaker. Every fight on this card has the potential for fight of the night, though.
Yep.
Thomas McHugh comes back to the cage with the official decision.
The crowd and us are on the edges of our seats. Look at these guys. They got even Angel Ortiz imploring the crowd.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, all 3 judges score the contest 30-27 for your winner by unanimous decision,